let's talk about aliens. And I'm going to give you my take on it, but I think a lot of people like either feel that way already or are coming to the same like type of conclusions. I know my mom, like, she wanted aliens to be real so badly. When the movie Independence Day came out and there was the lady on top of the building holding the sign, welcome, and I was like, Mom, that would be you. Now, me, when it comes to aliens, you got to think like with logic and reason, with the universe being so large, the chances that other beings exist is highly likely, right? But I would think more in sense of interdimensional beings or maybe even angels or demons. Now, I'm not saying that's definitely what they are because there's plenty of things that can be easily explained away as our own technology. Like, I see so many videos and I'm like, that's clearly a plane, that's clearly a drone, And I think a lot of times people know exactly what they're looking at. Like, maybe that's a mountaintop and there's a house up there and the lights are on and they know that, but they're like, ooh, look, it's aliens. You gotta be very cautious, and especially now with like generative AI, like it's harder and harder to tell what's real from what's not real when it was already hard before. It's like, are people trying to be fraudulent or is this a real experience? And I believe that there are people that have their own experiences and true beliefs around aliens, but I also believe that they are pushing this alien narrative, this alien agenda to get us away from God. And I think a lot of people are feeling that way too. And I don't know, there started being like so much stuff that I started thinking maybe aliens could be real. Like, so much stuff is going on in the world. It wouldn't surprise me if an alien walked into the restaurant and I would probably just sit there like, yeah, whatever. Knew it was coming. But then I've seen so much that seems like psyops to me that I feel like if I went outside of my house and I looked in the sky and there was an Independence Day type mothership above my house, I'd probably just get in my car and drive away and be like, yeah, what are they using? Plasma and cymatics? Like, they've been able to do this for a very long time. They were talking like in like the 60s of like doing this to other countries to like fake like either a religious figure or aliens or whatever. Now, please know, for every word I say, there's thousands of more thoughts on top of that. So, whatever I'm saying in this video, this is just a very teensy bit of my thoughts. The thing is I think skepticism is important, but I also believe that it's important to be able to be open to such things like, what is the evidence? Let's look at the evidence. Let's dissect it, explore it. But the hardest part now is that everybody wants likes and views, and so we're just getting so much manufactured evidence, and then plus it seems like maybe our government or something is trying to create some type of narrative. It seems convenient for them, and so it makes it less believable now. I feel like we don't trust our government, so if they told us they were aliens, we were like, yeah, there's no aliens. But I'm not gonna lie, I still love watching alien videos and conspiracy YouTube videos because we really know what's the difference between a conspiracy and truth. About 6 months. Because the conspiracy community is usually a highly intelligent people that, okay, I'm gonna explain something to you. Sometimes when you're really highly intelligent and you're around people who are not nearly as intelligent as you and they don't understand things and study things on the level that you do, to them it all sounds like woo woo, and they can make you feel like you're crazy, like you're not intelligent, like you don't know what you're talking about. But trust your intuition, trust yourself, know what your skill set is and knowledge is. Like, if you were like an F student your whole life and you can't be like, I'm certain I'm right based on, my own opinions. Like, like, no, there's layers to everything, and like, yeah, do I think there's a possibilities of uh, interdimensional beings? Definitely. And like, I think the final thing I want to say about this though is because when I was saying about religion, I feel like it's meant to like try to take people away from God, like, oh, we were created by aliens. Because this is the agenda that a lot of people are trying to say, like, oh, the Anunnaki and all this other stuff, which that's something I'll get into another day about the sources on that, and what's scholarly accepted and what's not. But when it comes to religion and them saying, like, oh, we were created by aliens, I think some people genuinely believe that, but I think others say that because they want to take us away from God. And what I say to the people who think, like, oh, we must have been made by aliens, I say, you're not thinking big enough. Because if aliens created us, who created the aliens? Come on. We all have an origin. It's like the chicken and the egg. What came first, And like, do you think a little baby came out and just raised itself from the nothing? I believe we have a creator. And, we can agree to disagree on many different things. And I'll just tell you, I don't know the answer. These are just questions that I seek. And so I do research, I watch videos, I talk to people, right? Like, I do all kinds of stuff to try to form an educated opinion that's based on pattern recognition, education, experience, reading, research, study, and like even down to the words. Like, we really have to realize that we live in an age where information is at our fingertips, but we have never been more confused, right? So take advantage of this information while it's at us and try to write down as much as you can, because believe me, how they're making the switches like from Google over to Gemini, where it's not going to be like you Google and then you can dive deeper. You're already in like dive deeper mode. And so the AI is going to decide who's a credible source and who's not, instead of you looking at all the sources and deciding who you trust. And that just is a dangerous world for shaping our narrative. So we have to continue being seekers and question everything, my friends. Anyways, my name is Lori Paris Pike. I just want to have a fun little conversation with you about the things that I love. Please leave a like and follow, and don't forget, you should be the main character in your story.